hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., flying solo today. And it was a good week for Wrestling Wit, as last Monday we interviewed TJ Error, Wednesday Danny Nemesis, and Wednesday we interviewed Jonathan Monroe. Three incredible interviews. Three very different, interesting individuals. Definitely cannot recommend those enough. If you haven't already, go and check them out in the archives. But always looking to the future, this Tuesday we have Jay Bonsai Blast from Canada. We talk his most recent bull rope match. We talk about teaming with Al Snow. We talked some anime, and a bunch more on that one. And then on Wednesday, we have New Money, Selena Dean. We talk about her rivalry with Marty Bell, wrestling Allison Kay for the first time, Charlie Cruel. We talk about taking a step back from wrestling to pursue bodybuilding, a hot dog eating contest, fencing, and the Crow Bros. So a very interesting and unique interview for sure. You definitely want to check that out on Wednesday. And then check out our social media for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more at Wrestling with E. Alright, now that we're done putting ourselves over, I don't know why I'm using the plural. It's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And, I suppose it's a good week if you're a Matt Cordona fan. He made his return to WWE as Matt Cordona, not Zack Ryder, yesterday on SmackDown, defeating, one of the, what they called, um, Kit Harington or Elton Price or one of those guys. Anyway, Matt Cordona is now officially WWE again, who, I guess Triple H was smoking crack for New Year's, decided that was a good idea. Maybe Chelsea Green finally wore him down enough. I don't know. I don't see this being a big sign at all. I don't see where he's going to move the needle at all. I don't see where people are going to care about him in the long run. I do see that it is just going to be Zack Ryder under a new name, all intents and purposes. Maybe one of a part of that deal with him coming in was that Chelsea Green had to drop the United States title. Also, something that happened last night on SmackDown. She dropped it to Julia, and the crowd went, huh? And then meh. I like Julia, but there is something missing with her 100% on the main roster. She's kind of just lost that luster and that attitude that made her unique and interesting. With coming, what's actually brought her to WWE in the first place. Uh, I think that she's kind of missing it right now. She doesn't necessarily have it. I don't think Kiana James does her any favors as well. And Kiana's not over. Kiana, Kiana hasn't gotten over. So what makes them think that somebody that can get over is going to get somebody that used to be over, but not over right now? She just she needs to find a way to connect with the fans. Very much like Asuka was able to connect with the fans. Very much like Io connected with the fans. I would like to see some type of, I would say, storyline, honestly. Make me care about Julia, because right now, putting a title on her and saying care about her is not working. Um, for all the bad, there was some good that came out of SmackDown, and that is Whoop That Trick is now officially on the SmackDown roster. This is no surprise whatsoever. He lost in the Madison Square Garden show a couple of months ago to Miles Bourne. So I mean, there was really nothing left for him to do. Um, kind of wish that he was on Raw, but we'll see what he does on SmackDown. Hopefully there's some opportunities for him. Hopefully they just don't draw him with Priest and do that for 6 months, because that would be honestly a waste of both guys' time and talent, if I'm being completely honest. Um, but yeah, Trick's on SmackDown. Hopefully he'll have a good performance in the Rumble, and we'll kind of take it from there. Wait and see. Um, Somebody that will be making a return sooner rather than later is a one Chad Gable. Um, and a lot of people are kind of scratching their heads to what to actually do with Chad, because El Grande Americano has had somewhat of a iconic run without Chad Gable. So, I mean, I don't think Grande is going to go back when he's came so far into the future, especially with Bravo and Lario or Lucario or whatever the fuck his name is. Um, I would kind of think that it would be interesting to see Chad Gable versus El Grande Americano. I think that, I mean, that's why he brought him into WWE to begin with, was to slay luchadors, and he's been doing that. So it would only make sense that Chad Gable would come and destroy the person that he brought into WWE. Well, I mean, it makes sense in WWE terms, I would say. Um, from returns to um the opposite end of that spectrum, retirements. Mercedes Martinez has officially announced that she will be slowing down her active pro wrestling role. Not technically retiring from the business, but she isn't going to be a full time competitor going forward. Um, I would say that she's had a Hall of Fame career the way that it is. It's nothing to sneeze at, and a lot of people has um haven't come nearly as close to doing what she's done. So, um, fantastic competitor, fantastic individual. Um, I'm happy for her. I do hope that we get maybe retirement match. Maybe something with Shayna Baszler would be fantastic. But I mean that's to be seen, and hopefully will come when the time is right. And speaking of Shayna Baszler, um, she's been working behind the scenes for NXT. Kind of officially an unofficial official member of Gorilla, helping some of the girls out. Um, which I think is honestly great for Shayna. Um, I think that I do think that there was maybe a couple of missed opportunities with Shayna in the past. Um, and I mean, she is kind of getting up there in age, so I mean, there wasn't that much time to use her, unfortunately. But she's obviously very knowledgeable about business, and she obviously knows a lot. So why won't you capitalize on that? And it seems like that's what Shawn Michaels is doing right now. Maybe we'll get Shayna. I don't want to see that she's going to retire, but maybe every now and again we'll see her in the ring, as a treat. But I wouldn't be mad if she took a backstage role because I do think that she deserves that comfy office job. Um, on the topic of retirements, don't know if you could kind of call this a retirement, but Brock Lesnar guy, longtime super fan. For anybody that doesn't know, when you see the WWE Monday night, the Raw after Mania 2011, I want to say, maybe 2012, when Brock Lesnar made his return back. That guy that did the Brock Lesnar thrust, I want to say, um, he's been known as the Brock Lesnar guy ever since. Um, he's you if you look hard enough, you can see him in the front row for a lot of major WWE shows. Um, Apparently, he has attended his last WWE show. Says that he's retiring from going to WWE events. Um, I think he said pro wrestling events, but I don't remember seeing him all that often in like AEW events. But I mean, we still see with that. I do still think that it's kind of a show of the times where ticket prices are too damn high that guys like even super fans are kind of getting priced out. Except Green Short Guy. Green Short Guy is forever front row. Um, but yeah, Brock Lesnar guy said that he's going on to other things, bigger and better things, whatever that means. Um, I'm pretty sure he's from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, maybe he's a Cubs fan, so he likes masochism. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he'll corner his money on that. But whatever he wants to do, it's obviously his choice. Um, an odd thing that happened this week in pro wrestling news is the Jumping Bomb Angels actually put up a petition to join the WWE Hall of Fame. They want people to sign it so WWE can induct them. I would probably make the argument that they didn't need to go that far. That WWE should have just, inducted them properly. Um, Maybe they've gotten lost in history to some degree. Um, but they are somebody that should be in the Hall of Fame. I would say. But they're taking the initiative and they're, um, campaigning to actually be inducted. I do hope WWE just takes notice and just, decides to pull the trigger. Um, I would say that it's quite topical as the Rize arc made an impact in the movie theaters for anime fans, connecting Bomb Angels, Bomb Devil. It's clever. Um, so yeah, let's see what happens there. Um, and our last bit of news is Sheamus underwent a successful shoulder surgery. Wishing him and hoping him a speedy recovery. We shall see what happens there. Um, Hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. All right. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
The only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0 calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue energy, more focus, more win.
Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with AEW World's End. It was last Saturday in the Ethan Hoffman Estate, Illinois, at the Now Arena, and attendance was 8,968. So these pay previews are still doing relatively well. Um, I mean, they can't full out, Dynamite and Collision, but at least they're kind of getting what they need for the important shows. Um, my thoughts on the show as a whole, it was okay. I don't really feel like I was invested into anything, but I don't feel like I've been invested in anything AEW for quite some time. Um, there's some, there was some good things, bad things, and some things that just outright surprised me. So, um, I feel like I say this every paid preview. AEW's trying. AEW is trying to capture the fans again, trying to get um, people talking, trying to get eyes on their product. Uh, so let's get into it. We had Kazuchika Okaya defeated Kolkutska Take Shida in 17 minutes and 25 seconds to advance in the Continental Breakfast tournament. Um, I thought that this was actually a pretty good match, if I'm being honest. I think that both guys paced themselves. There was some nuances. It kind of felt like a proper New Japan match. Um, Okada can still pull it out of his ass when he wants to. And this was one of those times. Um, I thought they had the fire when they needed it. They had those moments that, well, they're both, um, they're both Don Callis guys. So, but they've kind of been building this rivalry between the two of them as well. This was definitely not the comes to blow, but it made sense that, this would be the start of that, self destruction between the two of them. What I don't think makes sense was that Konosuke is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, one of the bigger and more prestigious titles in pro wrestling, and he's going for a secondary, maybe even third-rate type AEW title. I mean, yeah, it's Okada holding it, but why would Konosuke really give a shit about the Continental title when he has arguably one of the higher titles in pro wrestling? So, I mean, that just, in my opinion, devalues Konosuke and the IWGP title. Um, the second thing that makes no sense to me was the finish. They botched the fuck out of it, and it was obvious. It was bad. Um, it didn't destroy the match all that much, but it still was a pretty bad botch in my opinion. Um, all things considering, mm, one of the better matches on the card. I'll give it 4. I thought that this was a 4-star match. Um, Second match, we have John Moxley defeating Kyle Fletcher in, well, let me rephrase that. Neo-Nazi Moxicillin defeated Kyle Flatulence in 22 minutes and 35 seconds to advance in the Continental Breakfast tournament. Um, sometimes you kind of forget that Moxley can actually fucking wrestle, and this was one of those times where he actually reminded you that, yeah, he can actually wrestle. He can actually have a good match when he wants to. No bullshit, no blood, no guts, no forks, chairs, nothing. Just two guys beating the crap out of each other in the middle of the ring. Um, that being said, this match went way too fucking long. Um, I don't think it does Fletcher any. Um, it doesn't do Fletcher any good to actually lose what, like 3 times in the same tournament. Um, in almost the exact same spot as well. Um, it was odd that Moxley was kind of playing the face in this match as well, but we will get to that in later on in this review. Um, this match should have been shorter than the Okada match. There wasn't as much story in it for it to go as long as it did, other than Tony wanted it to. Um, so yeah, it was good until it wasn't, until after the 15-minute mark. And then it just kept going and going and going to the point where the Energizer Bunny was like, it just keeps going. So, what do I give this? Well, Moxley didn't bleed. So, for the simple fact that Moxley didn't bleed, 4 stars. Yeah. Alright. Um, Chicago Street Fight for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler with Stokely defeated the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, and Austin Gunn in 17 minutes. Not a bad match. Just kind of crash and born at this point. Um, and oddly enough, another botch at the end where they were supposed to pile drive. I think it was Juice. On the chair on the belt, and they were not underneath the belt. So yeah. Um, Another botch finish, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I feel like they're just trying to keep FTR busy until Edge comes back so they can continue that rivalry. Because it's been a hot minute since that rivalry ended. What was put on hold for, I think it was Percy Jackson. So yeah. Um, I suppose it did what it needed to. 3.5. Tag team match for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. Babes of Rat, Holly Chameleon, and Willow Nightingale defeated Mercedes Marnette and Athena in 13 minutes and seconds. My first thoughts going into the match was Athena is here to take a pinfall. I was actually pleasantly surprised that Mercedes actually took the pinfall. And Willow, with the callback to when she beat Mercedes, in the New Japan tournament to win the women's strong title. Yeah, she got the W on Mercedes. Uh, Babes of Rat retained. I feel like it went a little long, but I mean that's the story of AEW shows and as a whole. Um, but it did set up Mercedes and Nightingale for the next week, where Mercedes actually dropped the title to Nightingale. So congratulations to Willow on that one. Um, I feel like Mercedes has been dropping titles as of late. And, a lot of people are gonna say, well, see, she's dropping titles. Um, she's losing matches. She's, she's being generous. Yes and no. I will be under the impression that Mercedes will is on the nepotism level until she loses a tit one of these independent titles to an independent wrestler who she has lost matches to are all AEW signed contracted wrestlers. She lost to Tony Storm, who is arguably the best women's wrestler currently running. She lost to Chris Statlander. AEW. I mean, she hasn't been there from the start, but she's definitely. I would call her an original, and she is a favorite as well. She's a sentimental favorite to the fans as well, and they're obviously going with her. She lost to Alex Windsor. She lost the Rev Pro title to her, I believe. Alex is married to Will Ospreay, so I know it's called Nepo baby when they're the child, but what is it called when you're married to somebody that's Nepo? A Nepo wife? I don't know. But there was that fact, and then there's the fact that Alex is also signed to AEW. And now Willow. Willow's been there a hot minute. She's obviously beloved. And she's also contracted to AEW. I have not heard that she lost to anybody on the independents. Somebody that would be considered below her. I could 100% make the argument Alex is below her. Yes, but again, she works for the same company. I want to see Mercedes lose to somebody that is not contracted to AEW, and until she does that, I will stand firm to um the Mercedes nepotism kick. Um, what do I give this match? Um, it was probably a three-star match, and then the Willow pinfall came out of nowhere, 3.5. We got Debbie Allen defeated Gabe Kidd in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Blood and guts without the blood and guts. Um, was unnecessarily gruesome. I don't know why they just didn't do, a death match and kind of get it over with. Uh, but I will say that it didn't go that long. So there's that. I think that this was actually the shortest match on the card. So it did leave a little bit of meat on the bone for when they do a barbed wire death match, and then a Texas death match, then blood and guts, and then an I quit match, and then I want to hear your heart stop beating match, and all that good stuff. Um, 3 stars. Mixed Nuts Mayhem, also known as Lazy Booking Match. Timeless Tony Storm, Roderick Strong, and Mark Briscoe and Orange freshly pooped Orange Cassidy defeated the Dead Riders, Claudio Itacanoli, um, Cherry Garcia, um, Dord Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Shafir. It's funny how Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir in the same match, opposite ends of the spectrum. Um, I can. This was a pee break match. Could not care less. I thought the dancing spot between Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy was incredibly stupid. Um, yeah, this was a this was the pee break match. 2.5 stars. Alright, AEW Women's World Championship match. Chris Statlander defeated Jamie Hayter in 18 minutes, 10 seconds. Just seems like Chris Statlander is running the gauntlet at this point. Um, I'm kind of here for it, but I also didn't necessarily feel like Statlander was in any danger of losing the match. I don't want to say that took me out of it. Obviously, Hayter is a former champion herself, but she really hasn't captured the magic that she had during her first run. Everything kind of has fallen to the wayside for her. And it seems like she's very difficultly trying to try and get back to where she was when she left. Um, there was a pretty dangerous spot where it seemed like Hito may have gotten injured, and Statlander may have injured herself in the process. Luckily I didn't hear anything afterwards. Both goals seemed fine. Um, but yeah, Statlander is um on her way up. Hero kind of stays where she is. 3 stars. Alright. Continental Classic Finals for the AEW Continental Championship. I think it's the Unified Championship as well. It's two titles in one, but get you only get one of them winning this tournament, but the other one's an add-on. You get fries and a drink for a, a bonus. John Moxley defeated Okada in 20 minutes 10 seconds. Semi-decent match. I don't think that this one had the heat that either of the first two matches had. They kind of tried to tell the story of the Moxley's leg. Very interesting that Moxley worked face in this match, considering like just a couple months ago he was the most hated man in pro wrestling. It's also interesting that the Dub Riders, literally 2 matches prior to this, worked heel. And then Moxley is coming out and saying, we wrestle for yous and we love the crowd, and basically blowing smoke up the crowd's ass. And it just makes you kind of scratch your head and say, wasn't this guy a heel not too long ago? It's it's a whole character arc in like what, a month? Less than that? He just kind of started this redemption arc during the Continental Tournament. And it doesn't, like, it could have been such a bigger moment. I mean, first and foremost, if he just went away for a couple of months. I mean, Roman literally turned face because the crowd turned him face after WrestleMania. No other reason. And he got the biggest face pop. There weren't really any redemption arcs needed for him. It just kind of was. Moxley just stayed around and saw he's. I guess you live long enough to see yourself be the villain. I guess you live even longer to see you become the hero again. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, he's a good John Moxley now, and he's the Continental Breakfast Champion. Why he needed a title to redeem himself and be a good guy again, I have no idea. What this means for the Death Riders, I have no idea. But we're here now, and yeah. What do I want to give this? 3 stars? Yeah, 3 stars. Well, 3.5. John Moxley didn't bleed. Alright, fatal 4-way match for the AEW World Championship. This was MJF's Casino Gauntlet Guaranteed Contract match, and he cashed in. MJF defeated Samoa Joe, Swivel Strickland, and Hangman Page. Um, I don't know why Swerve changed his song, but it sucks, and he needs to go back to Swerve when he drives, because he's going to be healed if the crowd doesn't get what they want. I mean, Nana could dance to it, but it doesn't necessarily go with the song, and that does it just doesn't make any sense to me. So that right off the top of my head. Um, I didn't think the match was bad. I thought it was a good match. It seemed like just, your end of the year gimmick match to, get to the next paid preview. That actually ended in a surprise. Why MJF won the title, I have no idea. The logical the logical sense would have gone to some either keep it on Joe or put it on Paige. But AEW's logic says MJF must win. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll actually work in AEW's favor. AEW was at a pretty hot point when MJF was their champion. So maybe him being the champion again will maybe recapture some of that magic that they kind of lost. I do see that. I do think that they are maybe more on an upswing rather than a downswing at this point. But then again, they were bought by Netflix, so WWE could just say that don't work for me, brother, and they could be on Access tomorrow. We don't know. But yeah, MJF is your AEW World Champion once again. He's he joins a group of individuals that won the World Championship twice before turning 30, so maybe that's something that they wanted as well. I don't know. But yeah, I will give this 3.5. Um, Maybe the MJF winning was unexpected, so that will bump it up to a half a star, but there's also the why was it him question mark that bumped it down a half a star. So this could have been 4, but confusion AEW logic bumped it down to 3.5. I mean, all in all, I would say that it was watchable. It was a little bit maybe more easier to digest, even though there was every match was over 10 minutes. That being said, I still wouldn't watch it again. But I feel like that just kind of my take on AEW at this point. Make me care, and they haven't done that. So I'd say dumps in the middle. It wasn't their worst paid preview ever, but it was certainly not their best item. All right, that will conclude our coverage of AEW World's End. Join us next week as we talk all things New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom. We'll have a full review of that. So, spicy comments from Yoda Suji already about AEW. Um, so yeah. Again, if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. But on YouTube and Castbox, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday and Wednesday as we interview Jay Bonsai Blast and Selena Dean. And like I said, join us next Saturday as we preview and review the latest shows. Wrestle Kingdom coming up. We're entering year 7 of Wrestling with Entertainment. Time just flies by. Can't believe we've been that long. Just another 8 years and we'll become an overnight sensation. So thank you again for listening. If this is your first time listening, um, if you've been here for the whole 7 years, whatever, we appreciate the views. We appreciate you listening. Um, you can follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. You can follow me personally at JamesG993. For Kalika Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.